I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. A small child riding on a giant cabbage, touching the face of Oprah.
The butt sauce was this.
That happened. I'm not making that up.
Even...
That's not even the start of... No, that actually was pretty up there in the what the fuck moments.
That's not where it started, but that's probably where it, like, climaxed. I
climaxed. I climaxed hard. I have
this movie, huh?
I laughed so hard I may have jizzed myself. I couldn't, like, I honestly thought I was going to get kicked out of the theater because I started laughing at one point. And I think it was like 3.5 minutes straight.
I wasn't as bad as you.
Just losing my shit.
But Oprah's ego does a very good performance. It was interesting because I read this about behind the scenes where they're saying you had to play this giant heavenly goddess who actually looms over everybody, and she said, and they're like, we gotta put effects and makeup on. And she said, no, my ego does that naturally. In fact, if you notice, you didn't even ask me to audition. I'm just kind of here, and I already have the part. And they're like, you're right. I don't even remember calling you. But we just had this part of this goddess who just looms over and smiles over everybody. Yeah.
And that wasn't makeup. She's covered in glitter at all times. It exudes from her skin.
They have the makeup to cover up the glitter.
Oh,
because now that she's going to be our next president, because, we don't vote for politicians anymore.
Don't we have enough egos in the White House right now?
Oh, my God. I wasn't as bad as you, but that was rough. That was really rough.
Anytime she popped on screen... I completely freaking lost it. I've never, and I will say this, they say laughter is the best medicine. I'm gonna die when I'm 150 now. Like, I think this movie added 50 years to my life, because it was pure laughter. Like, it was the sort of laughter that was uncontrollable and I couldn't stop.
This is they're flying on
just thinking about
this mix of a grasshopper and, like, the Sprite from Fantasia 2000, and they're just flying around giant Oprah, who just at all times is like this, and the little boy just sees her angelic glow, has to hold out his hand to touch her cheek, and giant Oprah, it kind of gives a look like, yes, you may, and he touches her cheek, flying around her, and she just goes, and
I'm sorry.
It kind of never got quite.
It's so.
It never got quite as good as that.
No, it's just it's the way Oprah just smiled, like touch me, little boy, stroke my face.
You may have a little bit of my godliness.
Literally looking like a tinfoil dressed chicken. Like a woman dressed in a tinfoil chicken suit, advertising Chick-fil-A. I don't know, with this
being puked on by a rainbow,
white hair, and then Gem on the Hologram style glitter everywhere. Like, I couldn't tell if she was doing like Tina Turner 80s pop, MTV star thing, or like David Bowie and Labyrinth. Like, it was just like fucking everything.
It was just Oprah.
It was just Oprah.
That's just Oprah.
She popped up, and I was just like, Big O. It's just because she just shows up and the movie's just like, oh, Oprah.
Yeah, no, the minute they're even you hear her voice and who is them? They're like, oh, it's her. Oh, you're gonna be so impressed. I remember I just leaned over. It's like, Oprah got this role, huh? Just everything is around her being bathed in a heavenly glow, because she is our new God and Savior.
So...
Okay, so the movie. We had to get that out there, because that's all we were talking about, even when she was not on
Because if I think about it for another second, I'll start laughing again.
Now remember, they give their gifts in the middle of the movie. Everyone gives them a physical thing. This will help you see shit, and this will help you jump through time. And Oprah's like, I will give you words of wisdom, because they are that powerful. No, can you give us a gun or something? It's no, just Oprah's command.
Now you want to know
and it's stick together. Oh, no shit.
Now you want to know the scary thing? That actually was in the book.
Oh,
from what I remember.
I know,
it was just like,
again.
we give you gifts, and I swear to God, like, the book's got strong Christian overtones. All It's like that Robot Chicken Peanut sketch.
Yeah.
I said
Christian
strong
overtones.
Christian overtones. And, like, I swear to God, the three of them give gifts. It's like that scene in Sleeping Beauty with the fairies, and it's like, and I, as the last fairy goddess of light, will bestow upon you the gift of scripture. Something, something, something. Jesus said this, Mark 24:5. John,
I'd much rather have
6:18.
Santa Claus give me swords, man.
Like
in goddamn Narnia.
that happened in the book, and I just laughed because I'm like, looks like we took out the strong Christian overtones, and now it's just words of wisdom. But I was like, I would have killed if they kept that in, because Oprah's just like, I give you my gift, y'all need Jesus. I was waiting for it. I'm like, come on, man.
Y'all
just do
need
it.
me. I'm new Jesus. All right, we should talk about if we liked this movie.
Yes. Is it a good movie? Hell no.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated.
So the first half is the most expensive Disney Channel original movie I've seen. Like, pretty much the acting, the atmosphere, the tone, everything. After sitting through those Disney Semper, it's like an okay Disney Channel original movie that just somehow got this batshit insane budget.
Honestly, I thought it was the most ambitious Mindy Project episode yet. I mean, at nearly an hour 40 minutes long, and with a budget like that, and they sidelined her too. Mindy wasn't even the main character.
Yeah,
in this
they played the
episode.
long game with that one.
Yeah.
They really ride that punchline.
Yeah. No, Mindy's. Honestly, I don't know, do we talk about the differences between the book and the movie?
Well, let's talk about just the film. I never read the book.
Film.
I have no idea what it's about.
I asked you actually straight up. I'm just like, have you ever read the book? And you were just like, no, I know nothing about this. Going into it, and I said, oh, if it's even 50% like the book, you're in for some
It sounds like it was exactly that, 50%.
Weird shit. And that was exactly what it was, about 50% of the book.
From what you were describing, the stuff that was like the book, I actually legit enjoyed.
It was the better part of the movie.
Yeah, so
that's
okay,
for sure.
so pretty much just quickly summing up thoughts, first half is kind of like Disney Channel original movie, bridge to Terabithia territory,
Yeah.
but there's
a little bit of it like James Cameron Avatar light.
yeah, like, but there's people that like that. I can't say it's awful. I feel like if I was 12 years old or under, I would probably dig this.
It was like
adult,
it was a very just light checklisty. These scenes happen in the book. Get through it kind of quickly, and then they change some things. But
everyone's talking really whimsically and really in kind of these riddles and like, aha, we have it figured out. It's kind of that talk. And again, as a kid, I would like. Now it just seems like pretentious shite.
The problem is in the book, like, yeah, they talk like that, but there's something charming about it. Again, I feel
very difficult to do.
Yeah, it's hard to translate into film, but I can tell you this: in the book, I think the fucking main of the I forget who's it, where's it, but the lead one, the Oprah one. In the book, I thought like she didn't have like a form. If I remember, fucking correct me in the comments. I know y'all will, but I thought she didn't have like some sort of stuff. It's like she was almost like a light. Or something. It was like really.
Rob, that's what we got. Oprah is the light.
But I can tell you this: of all the things that may have been in the book, she was not dressed in a tinfoil chicken suit. Like that was not in there. So I'm just like, it's like maybe this could have worked if you didn't make them look that ridiculous. Like, okay, in a weird way, the only one that worked was Mindy. Like that was the one when I think back, like when I think of what I thought of those three in the book. What my image of them is closest to Mindy.
I'm like Chris Tucker.
What?
She did that. She quoted Chris Tucker. Don't you remember? Oprah shows up and she's like, because she quotes everything.
I'm talking about the look and feel. They changed the dialogue.
Let's just make this clear. The kind of movie it is.
Yes,
she speaks in nothing but quotes and then reference who says it. Because it's that kind of movie. And at some point, one of them changes their true form, and she just goes, damn! And it's like, Tucker, American. And it's like, Yep, we're doing this. We're doing
In the book, by the way, she spoke like 12 languages. That has now been dumbed down to fortune cookie sayings and Chris Tucker.
And then when she's talking normal, like, there's not much time, you have to hurry. It's like, wait, was it me or did she actually use regular words, like talk normal, like speak to us? And it's like, her powers are getting weaker. And it's like, wouldn't it be like she became weaker if she just quoted wiki quotes? I mean, like anyone can look this shit up.
She starts quoting InfoWars.
Literally, literally a computer can do this. So I mean, why is she getting weaker? But okay, so then the second half, I think it's the second half. Time kind of stands still in this movie. To take that as you will. When they get to the
folds stuff.
Yes. When they get to the suburban neighborhood that you see in the trailer where all the kids are bouncing the balls and stuff like that. Then on, it's kind of interesting. It's hard to say whether or not it's like good, but it's like I'm into it. I want to see where it's going, and it's weird and it's odd, but I'm enjoying the weird and oddness. It doesn't feel pretentious. It feels like it's getting somewhere. And there's a legit, really good emotional moment between the main character and her father, where I was just like, that was a real movie right there.
Yeah,
like that was legit.
She is so good. And her love interest is so bad.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah, but that scene they shared, that was the first time. The suburban scene was close to the book, but there was still, from what I remember, there were a couple of... But that scene, I'm just like, there it is. There's the book. For some reason, somehow, you got the book right there, where they're reunited. I'm like, that is the book. You freaking nailed it. Like, now if you could have just done that for the rest of the movie.
Sort of that last third, I kind of thought that's especially with this director, I kind of thought that's the movie I was going to get. Like, surreal imagery with abstract ideas, but some real legit emotion, like, in the middle of it. And, like, what feels like real acting. And throughout the majority of it, the acting really ranges in terms of, like, strangeness and awkwardness, and we'll get to that. But you're right, the main kid is very good. Like, even when she has to say kind of this very forced material.
If she survives this movie, if this movie doesn't tank everybody involved except for Chris Pine and,
Oprah!
Well, that's because she's got $1 billion. The only thing that matches Oprah's ego is her bank account, so she'll be fine. But besides those two, if she survives this movie, then she's going to be one to look out for, because I feel like if she stays in acting, I'm like, that kid really nailed it.
Yeah, she could be some. And then, like...
The others, though, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. And then, like, it kind of gets to the end, and it's kind of slowing down, getting a little dull. There's dull areas in this movie. And then, like, those three come back. Oprah, Reese Witherspoon, and Mindy. And
the bad movies return!
Yeah, and that's what I said. I feel like the bad movie just returned. Like, it's like we're actually almost kind of getting somewhere interesting.
I wanted to just look straight at us and be like, if you all look under your seats, you'll see something special. A refund! Refund for you! Refund for you! Refund for you!
And then it just kind of ends, has the happy ending you think it's gonna get, and even visually, like, the first half of this movie, like, it is gorgeous, don't get me wrong, but we live in an interesting time where I feel like gorgeous is weirdly easy now because of technology.
It's not as difficult.
And there's a sense where, but the second half, it's like, it's visually interesting and it's intriguing. I feel like visually interesting now has to be tied in with, something unique or emotionally driven.
I feel like the movie picked up. There's problems with this scene, but I felt like something was starting to click on when they go to the seer, the happy medium or whatever.
Area.
In the orange, where I'm just like, this looks interesting. This is an interesting metaphor. They're all teeter-tottering, and she's the girl, as always, is like selling it with her performance.
They're there for a while though, man.
Yeah, it's the scene's got problems, but I felt like, it's starting to take itself maybe a little more seriously now. Like, I don't know. I felt like it was starting to, but you're right. It's not. There's a lot of problems, but it was starting to turn on there, where I'm like, I'm recognizing this feeling like the book, and then they end up going to, I don't even remember the planet's name, but where they fight it, and they're in.
Is it IT or ID? What is it?
It's IT. Have you tried turning the evil on and off again?
I was this close to wearing my Tim Curry It shirt today. It's like, damn it! Why didn't I wear that? I didn't know that was the name of the villain in this.
The man with the red eyes and Central Intelligence or whatever, which I love.
I mean, just we can't say it's really good. I think there's an audience for it. I don't think it's big. I can see this kind of catching on, kind of like how Dark Crystal caught on years later and stuff. Like, it'll get this very distinct audience.
It's very campy.
Yeah,
like, if you want to see something
campy
that you will probably unintentionally laugh at and unintentionally laugh hard, watch it. And if you want a movie,
I feel like that's just gonna be us.
Maybe. I don't know. There was nothing funnier to me than Oprah dressed as an aluminum chicken.
But I think that's like a very distinct.
Oh, come on! When she's literally like,
oh no, I find it hilarious.
She's 60 feet tall. Like, literally, there's a scene where she's standing. No! Shut up! I'm gonna finish this. There's literally a scene where she's standing in the backyard, in the girl's backyard, and she is 60 feet tall, and literally like the height of the roof of the house, just staring down like this. Yes, my child. And it's, how can you not laugh
the
at
Virgin
that?
Winfrey.
Yeah.
Okay, there's about...
There's another scene where I swear she's dressed as a fish. It's like freaking Little Mermaid going on. It's bizarre.
Okay, this screening, first of all, did not have many... 20 people, something like that? Not that many people.
No, which might be telling. I don't know.
I'm assuming it's not
like opening night and only 20 people.
But even then, we were kind of the only ones laughing at that. So I'm just going by the percentages with that. I'm sure other people laugh at, but
I'm sure the other people wanted to kick us out, but yeah, I couldn't help it. But
I'm talking about legit enjoy this film. I can see people like
unironically.
Yeah, no, I can see people like grow up with it and like
maybe
the
if you're
ideas.
a kid.
Yeah, no, I was saying if I was 12 or below, I feel like I would like this movie. Unironically, I would like it. Because it does talk about sort of these interesting ideas, that, like, I think sort of tap into going into teenhood, like, you kind of want to think more abstract, but also emotionally, too.
I feel
kind of with these scientific ideas, and, like, I would dig that.
It's a weird combo because it doesn't really talk down to children, but in my opinion is not taking them as seriously as the book did.
No, everyone talks in this sense of wonder, particularly the three misses or whatever.
And that's in the book, but there's a distance somehow in the book. I was like, I don't remember being this annoying to, I guess maybe your mind fills it in how they talk and speak, but I was like, I don't remember being this annoying.
No, I'm sure those words are from the book, but
not all of them.
No, but I mean, I'm sure this is why it's very difficult to adapt. You need actors that can make this sound quirky and real and interesting.
You need a Gene Wilder. Like, if you had a Willy Wonka thing going on, like, that's what you need.
Willy Wonka, that character in Willy Wonka, obviously can be screwed up very easily, but you get a mad genius like Gene Wilder in there, and it's just incredible. And I feel like, you needed, like, 3 Gene Wilders for these roles, and
I don't know which.
It's
hard, because I'm, like, Gene Wilder's one I get. I'm trying to think if there's a female equivalent, like, who I could see in these roles. I honestly thought Mindy was close enough. I think the problem there is the writing.
I thought she was pretty annoying.
Compared to Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, she was really annoying.
That one was killer. And then the thing is, Oprah, though, I was just laughing at. So I don't know. I imagine they would be like a cosmic Miss Frizzle or whatever from the Magic School Bus. That's what I thought when I read the book.
No, I'll give you. If they were saying these lines kind of like how the gems from Steven Universe say their lines. If they were
There's
like
a good comparison. Okay, actually, that's a good. Yeah, the gems. From Steven
if they had like those personalities and those kind of deliveries and still saying the same lines, like I feel like it could work. You could connect with them, and they were still kind of all knowing, they know more than you, but they're also kind of quirky. There's something you can relate to with them, and they're trying to be that in this.
Yeah, they did not come off like at least from what I can remember.
Yeah. But okay, and let's talk about the other performances in this, because like I said, the first half,
the little kid is
okay. So there's the little boy.
I don't know if he's good or bad, but he's fun.
Okay, I'll say he's good.
Okay,
and here's why.
I don't know. I'm on the fence, but he was interesting to watch. I'll give him that.
Okay, here's the thing. I think this kid was given the direction. You are actually a kid genius. You're light years ahead of your time, you know, and I want you to act like it. And that's exactly what gets in, and it's totally over the top and crazy.
He goes dark in the second half, and
it's a blast.
It's so, and that's exactly, I think, what the direction was, because he's very much just like, hello, father. Oh, should I call you father? Like, it's just like...
And this is like a South Park character, but it's so much fun. He's so
honestly,
entertaining.
He is what Anakin Skywalker could have been if you started him off darker. Like, this is what the 5-year-old evil Anakin could have been.
There's never a moment where you feel like that kid is phoning it in.
No, he's trying. Like, I don't know if it's a great performance or just campy, but it's, you know what, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin. I love it. I don't care if it's good or bad. I just love it. It's just amazing.
And I think for that age, like, he becomes, like... Because, again, I can totally see what they're telling him to do, and he did it. And he did it to the best of his ability, and it's like, for this already weird world, you know, I felt like he had a lot of passion. He was fun to watch, and I was with him. Maybe
in the book,
I was always with him.
He's supposed to be kind of like I remember he had, like, this vocabulary, and it was like from the beginning, like he could just kind of, I don't know, he could like read minds or shit. Like,
it's not real. It is in no way a real performance, but it's something where it is just so over the top. It's like I'm always with it, even when he's evil. When he's evil, he's legit intimidating, and I was really impressed by him. Actually, I was just like, okay, I'm totally buying this. You as a bad guy. Like,
again, the better part of the movie is also a closer part to the book.
And then there's a...
the love interest was just...
Yeah, okay, so this poor kid...
Calvin, and he looks like he just dropped out of a Calvin Klein commercial.
If you saw The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman, like, that's kind of what this performance... Just everything's just... And they're like, he literally just shows up out of nowhere, just... Hi. And they're like, hi, Calvin. I don't even know if they know who he is. He's like, what are you doing? It's like, I don't know. I just felt like... I should be
He's got this weird serial killer stare,
the whole
too. Just keeps going like...
He's like when Jim Carrey tries to act dramatic. I just don't know who I am.
Oh.
Don't you have any memory? Blank.
He keeps... like, there's a scene at the end where it's like... He keeps staring at her as he's walking out the kitchen door. And I'm just like, is he gonna come back with a butcher knife? Yeah, he keeps doing that. And then, like, he looks through the window, and then the brother, like, waves goodbye. He's like, yeah, and I'm just like, I just expect him just to come back in the window again, like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I'm watching you. Like, it's weird.
There's even a scene where, like, he's supposed to be like, he's super hungry, he's supposed to be eating this food. The character's a real dumbass, by the way. He's supposed to be whimsical and, like, entranced and everything, and he is so friggin' stupid. You could literally cut him from this movie and not miss a thing. A thing!
I do feel
There's not even, like, a romantic interest at all.
It was way worse here, but I do feel like in the book, was he a jock? I don't know, I feel like he was a little more on the girl and the little brother, and there were characters I think they cut to. They were like, she had more siblings. And the signs, they were the smart ones. I don't think Calvin was ever, if I remember it right.
But I just couldn't get what he was doing.
No, he was particularly dumb in this movie.
I always kind of say, like, I don't know, with when there's...
Tastes like sand. It's delicious.
Yeah, and he just keeps eating.
Sand. And he just looks at it.
I was like,
My friend is like, it turns to sand in his hand, he just sits there and looks at it like, and I'm like, I would be going... like spitting sand out.
But he's like,
yeah.
Everything is just wow. You know, he's like Mark Wahlberg from The Happening. He's like a little kid version of that. And
it's a shame because she's so good and she gets paired with the schmuck.
I mean, with kid actors, I really feel like you can't blame the kid, really.
Oh, I blame casting. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the other problem
it's
here.
It's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I'll tell you what the other problem here. Yeah, no, you can never blame a child after you're 18, then I can start saying maybe you're not turning in your best performance. Anything under 18, I'm like, okay, you know what?
Best example?
It's casting or the director. Like, somebody signed off on you, and they should have seen that there was a problem.
Yeah, but best example, the kid from Smurfs 2, you remember, I mean, one of the worst kid actors you've ever seen. Same kid from Room. He was nominated for an Oscar, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
so who knows?
It just depends.
What the director
I feel like you really can't put blame
I will say
on
this, my wife called it. She totally called it, because in the moment she's like, why does he keep sounding British all of a sudden?
It was Australian.
Yeah, she looked it up on the phone afterwards. Oh, he's Australian. I'm like, okay, so he couldn't hide his accent either.
That's why he's like Hugh Jackman for Greatest Showman.
I didn't notice that just because I was so entranced by Oprah. So
I didn't notice it either. Actually, I was just
she caught it.
Yeah,
she said he
so
just
sucked in
kept
by
going
all
into
was.
this like Britishy kind of sounding accent, and it was Australian. It turns out.
And there's bullies in the movie too. They're just it's the ones where it's like they stand behind the main bully who just goes up like this and says, her father disappears, and it's just like, oh, you should disappeared with him, or it's like it's one of those generic bullies. And then they try to give her like a bit of an arc, and she's friggin' weird too, because like she'll just open the window and just stare at them like,
oh yeah, with the guy out there, and then he waves, and the way she turns around, it's
okay,
just
like, do you have no idea? Like, this is the person that directed goddamn Selma. You know how bullies work, and it's like they don't just go, huh. And even when they come back from their adventure, she's still there, huh. Like, no, they're gonna shout shit at you. Like, hey, loser, hey, what are you doing, more? I laugh at her. It's like, no. Huh?
Well, the way she turns around from the window when she sees that the guy is like interested in Meg or whatever, and like I swear she does this twirl, and I could just hear her just like, oh my god, like it's just so. I don't know.
And they try to give her a backstory for a split second, and the same thing with the boyfriend, or if it even is a boyfriend.
The Selma thing is funny because the guy who played Martin Luther King in that voices the It. And he's amazing. That was another good casting choice. His voice has
he's
a
not
very
in it long though. I mean,
no, he's not in it long.
I wish it was. It was pretty cool.
But he's got a very Keith David quality to his voice.
Yeah, we thought it was for a second.
I thought it was for a second. It was like, well, there's a Britishy kind of sounding accent. Maybe it's, I don't know.
Okay, and you read the book. I know it's been a while, but the main kid in this, it sounded like they were really building up. Like the brother at one point says, so and so wasn't pretty when she was younger, and look at her now, she's beautiful. And she's like, oh, I just always look so awkward. I wish. This girl will look how you always
ugly.
want to look.
No, that is a fucking Hollywood problem.
Yeah, this is a beautiful kid. I mean, this could be a model.
But Doug, she has glasses.
Yeah,
okay?
glasses.
Big, thick glasses. That means she's hideous.
I mean,
no.
Honestly, when they're showing the other girl, like there's a part where she's tempted to be, this other girl, and I'm like, I think the way she looks is prettier.
This is a Hollywood problem. I'm sick of this thing. And Ready Player One's gonna have the same problems. I'm looking at the cast at that, and I'm just like, oh yeah, like he looks like a gamer, sure. They did it like in the book. They've definitely made it. It's like she thinks she's hideous. She thinks she's really ugly. She's got braces. Her hair is always messy or something.
Even the little brother is referencing it. He's screaming it.
I got this like from the book, from what I remember, like very geeky. Like I didn't get that in the movie. Like the actress is great, but they did not like. They needed to frump her up more or something. If that's the idea, like, oh, she's an outcast because she's so ugly or weird or geeky, she just looks like any. She's not like throwing on the Little Miss Hooker makeup collection like maybe some of the other girls are, but she looks like any average kid there.
I could 100% see her in a picture frame.
Yeah.
Like, that you sell to sell a frame. I mean, it's just a great looking kid.
All they did to basically separate them was they put the mean girls in shorter skirts and more makeup. And I think they were all a little taller than her, too. Other than that, and I don't think they wore glasses. Like, that's the big... So, yeah, no, you freaking nailed that. I wasn't thinking about that till after the fact.
Well, I was just watching because when the brother said that, I'm just like, is that what we're supposed to get out of this?
No, she's got...
There's lots of stuff in this movie where I suddenly go, is that what I was supposed to get?
Oh my god, so Malcolm saw this with us, and that was the best moment when the little kids or the brothers just like, what's that kid's name? Charles Wallace. Sounds like a newscaster. I'm Andy Rooney, and I'm Charles Wallace. Call him by
this is
60
name.
Minutes.
They always call him Charles Wallace. Charles Wallace. Even like when he's in trouble, like Charles Wallace. Like,
well, it's because
who does that?
Because when you have a kid who can read minds, saying Charles Wallace makes him sound creepier.
Yes.
But yeah, so Charles Wallace is like saying just like, oh, that's just like you, Calvin. You're always coming in to save the day. Always want to be the hero. Always wanting to save everybody. And then Malcolm just is like, does he? Like, as loud as, like, everybody could hear him say that. Like, we were just laughing. And I was like, I don't remember. Was that in the movie?
The climax of this movie, again, I don't think it's giving anything away, ties into giving into your fears and insecurities and, like, confronting them and challenging them. And I'm just thinking to myself, no, she didn't. She said them. She didn't do anything else.
I felt like there were scenes missing. Yeah. Like Charles was referencing things that will be in the director's cut. I don't know.
Well, and even the father, he's like, I spent, my life trying to hold hands with the stars. I should have been holding hands with my daughter. And again, I'm just like, is that what this was about? He was a bad, away, neglecting father? Was that it?
I'm going to sound heartless, but it was... No, I'm not going to sound heartless, because the scene where they reunite is amazing. And that got me all, like, nearly misty-eyed. But that opening... Like, all you need is love. Love is
That's
the greatest
how they
thing.
all talk, though,
I was just like, oh my God, we're in trouble already. And it settled down for a little bit, but there was something about that opening that rubbed me the wrong way. It just had that Disney fakey quality about it. Love. And I'm like...
really reminds me of
I get it. And the book did that. It's like, yes, Drat, defeated by the power of love. I get it, but it's just like, there's something about the way that it's just so advertised in that first, like, minute of the film, and I'm like, I'm like, already, this is having a...
rubbing me the wrong way.
It feels inauthentic. For a movie that gets strangely authentic at other moments. Like, there are moments with the performances I'm like, okay, there it is. There's the book. But there are other moments where it feels like a Disney Channel movie of the week, where it's just like statement of main theme and like...
Particularly with the kid not being, really ugly or even that awkward or anything like that. I mean, it totally made me think of the kid in the Bridge of Terabithia movie, where it's like she's supposed to be a tomboy, she's supposed to be weird, she's supposed to be off, and it's like, no, she is like a Barbie doll of whimsical enchantment, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's
I think the only scene that felt real when it came to the bullies was when they left the Post-it note, hope you disappear, on the locker. I'm like, yeah, that's some pretty petty shit. I can see that happening. And it's like, and of course it's like anonymous, except for the fact that the girl then shows up with her entourage. It's like,
Well, and like, again, I just wasn't getting why they were against this kid. I mean, like I said, if she was weird looking or she was super awkward,
she's weird. She's got glasses.
I feel like we didn't even see her enough with other kids to understand why she was picked on.
And it was trying, that's the weird thing, it was trying so hard. It was like looking like freaking Hoop Dreams or something, like this documentary style filmmaking with like the shaky cam and like, no, we're gonna try to milk some drama out of this, but I don't know, it's just like something didn't click. It's like I could see them trying so hard to be like realistic school setting, but never felt real, despite all the tricks they were trying to do.
That's what's so strange, because like I said, this director did, Selma, which is like, whoa! I mean, like, just the height of, realism and just ugliness and fighting back and strength and weakness. I mean, all these things coming together. I mean, just so much of the human spirit. Okay. And this just feels very
This might be part of the
Disney.
problem, though. Okay. I think we're answering our own question.
Yeah.
How could she do something so amazing?
Oh, no, I'm not saying
this feels like calculated Disney.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
You're gonna do what I tell you, or you're gonna get it. Click.
That's what I'm saying. Like, sort of the what seemed to be her.
You want your cheese? You do what the mouse says.
What seemed to be her strength as a director, it felt like, is not represented here for whatever reason. I'm guessing.
I think
it's kind of the Disney influence.
Part of the problem is the book too. I don't think this is a book that is easy to adapt, and I don't think the book was so. If you've never read the book, it's so fucking weird. And it feels weird, and I'm not sure that trying to make it hyper-realistic, like they're trying to do, is the right way to go.
I mean, you could do a
particularly
mix.
When you have Oprah dressed in an aluminum chicken suit.
Well, yeah, no, you just have to do them both well. You have to do the realistic well, and you have to do the abstract well, and both. I mean, the abstract they touch on a little bit more.
But the book,
later on,
the book. Okay, so full disclosure. I have not read the book since the 4th grade, and that was 1988. I read in early 4th grade because I went to a Catholic school, and they make you read The Hobbit in kindergarten because they're crazy like that. But yeah, we went to a private school for 3 or 4 years. And they were way ahead, and I remember reading the book, and I had come out of school in South Carolina, so I was like 2 years behind all these other kids in private school. And it was a rough read. Now, it was a good read, but I read it back then, and I don't remember the nitty-gritty of it. What I do remember, it's like almost like Star Wars or something. It runs on feeling. Like, I remember the feelings the book evoked, and I remember certain key scenes. I remember, I think in the book, the early scene with the storm, which I thought was handled pretty well, was also in the movie. That was there, and that just set the tone for being weird, because I remember, like, it's like the little brother could kind of, like, read her mind. I remember reading it as a kid, like, what? Because that was, like, my worst thought, that you could read my mind. Like, that was fucking terror right there, so... And I kept
trying to watch it. It's too disturbing.
The thing about the book that I think the book nailed is that feeling of alienation and that feeling of, you know, being the weird kid or the ugly kid or the geeky kid and trying to find your place. It, like, nailed those feelings, even if I don't remember everything clearly. And the thing I remember most about the book is that scene in suburbia. Like, when they first go into that town, I remember reading the book and just being somehow terrified. These 3 lone kids or whatever just being stared at by everybody else who's all doing the same thing. And then in the book, it's even weirder because everything's gray. They had like these sunshiny colors, but everything's gray in the book. And I remember thinking, like, because we were still at the height of the Cold War, and I remember thinking, it's like, is this what communist Russia's like? Like, everything's
Don't
weird,
all be
gray.
red.
Weird, gray, and sad, and everybody does the same thing, conform. So there was something about that whole sequence, and that whole sequence on that planet, the last third of that book, that really resonated. And that I still remember, and that's the part of the movie I think it nails the most. And that's the part that I think kids, a lot of times, yeah, blah, 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 mystical wonder, yay. Kids connect with fear more than anything, though. I think that's why 80s films are so great. And I think that might be where the problem is here. If there was going to be a time where this sort of weird-ass movie could have worked, we missed it. It would have been the 80s. Like, I think of Return to Oz and all these other things.
70s.
Okay, no, you know what I'm saying, though. The 1975 through 1990. You know, I don't... And, like, maybe that style of filmmaking will come back again. It's not here now, though. Like, everything in this...
I feel like they try to dab in it because they know it's important, but
yeah,
you're right.
It's really glossy, but okay.
Still not really there.
But then there's weird decisions, like, I swear to God, I'm not making this up. That book has centaurs. And this movie does not. And I'm like...
That doesn't surprise me. That's all this weird shit I've seen.
Yeah, but what's weird is, like... I was just like, I distinctly remember there were fucking centaurs in this. The 3 of them are centaurs. It was a planet of centaurs. There were centaurs everywhere. And what does this one give us? It's like, well, we can't do the centaurs. Nobody will take that seriously. Therefore, we will have a giant flying head of cabbage with the voice of Reese Witherspoon. And I'm like, what? This looks like a giant Jolly Green Giant ad that goes on for 20 minutes. Like,
I am so hoping that you were wrong about the centaurs, so just everyone can be like, why did Rob jump to that?
I swear. No, because I remember one of the book covers had it on it. I swear, I'm not crazy. Please tell me I'm not crazy. I haven't read the book since 1988, but the one thing I took out of it is communism on alien planets is bad, and centaurs. That is the lesson of A Wrinkle in Time and something, believe in yourself.
Well, that shit doesn't matter.
But yeah, the things I took out of the book was that sense of, like, fear of being scared as a child and being lost. Like, that concept of being lost in that town and, like, everybody staring at you. You're already in school anyway, and school's just fucking government babysitting, and it's weird, and there's kids everywhere, and they, like, you always feel like you're somehow being watched either by your... your teachers, your principal, you know, all the other kids, and then you have to conform with them, and it's just like... So I felt that really nailed it, and that's why I think the last third part of the film feels most like the book to me.
I mean,
like the stuff on the...
That's where it was getting interesting, in my opinion.
The stuff on the planet is... I just remember it somehow being, and as weird as it sounds, like, you would think that... tinfoil chicken Oprah and flying cabbage Reese Witherspoon and weird talking flowers would be weird enough, but I somehow remember the book being even weirder. I remember weird centaur things on Uriel or Urethra or whatever the planet was called, and like I just remember in my mind it came out weirder. But then again, I remember I'm also a child of the 80s. I was growing up on shit like Return to Oz and the holdovers from the 70s, so maybe my mind was just more psychedelic.
I mean, the plus side of books too is that you can introduce ideas,
and your brain fills in the gaps.
Yeah, I'm sure when they said the flowers are speaking in colors, like, you could interpret that like their language is colors. And it's like, you could interpret that in a ton of ways. In this film, they picked a way, as you have to, but in a book, there's so many ways you could interpret how the flowers then are talking through colors. And I feel like that's how the book probably worked, that there was a lot more like, insert your visualization of how this is working or happening here.
I feel like the movie works best when it... So, Madeline L'Engle, whatever her name is, she's got a great quote, and I wish I had remembered it when we were talking about Shark Boy versus Lava Girl, because we were talking about how, like, yeah, it's for kids, but, like, how much of a pass do you give for kids? And she had this great quote, I think it was her, and she said, the secret to children's storytelling and literature, and the same applies to films, is to be childlike without being childish. And when the movie worked, it was being childlike. When it didn't work, it was being childless. Or childish. Sorry, childless.
They're all adults.
Childish. Like, those scenes near the end, it was childlike. And there's some scenes with Wonder where it's childlike, but like, the scene where the little boy's touching Oprah's face and she's like, oh, bask in my glory, that's childish.
Yeah.
And there's other scenes like that. So I feel like there's a good movie trying to get out of this, but it's...
Definitely, yeah.
It's a mess.
It sounds like it's a difficult film to sort of make.
I'm surprised they tried. I know she's got a great... my other favorite quote of hers was, I think they did a TV version at one point. Maybe on the Sci-Fi Channel or something, because she dead now? I did, but she had a quote. They're like, "Well, did you see the live action adaptation?" And she's like, "Oh yes, it met my expectations. I expected to hate it, and that's what I did." I felt like she'd probably say the same thing about this one.
There's one great line in this movie where I'm just like, that's a solid line, and I think it's the wife talking to the husband, and she says, being great doesn't just mean being right. And there's a part of me that feels, even if you did like a word for word whatever of the book, that wouldn't make it great. That'd make it right, that'd make everything else, but you'd have to sort of take it, like you said, establish this atmosphere and this connection with your audience, which is supposed to be kids, and some adults as well. And you're right, there has to be some sort of legit realism and some sort of legit concern and fear, and it's just not established because it never quite feels genuine. It always feels like, well, we're trying to give you this type of character, give you this type of experience, and sometimes in the last third, it works, which is why I can't say, this is whatever, because there are times where it really works, but it does not ride through the whole thing, and when it doesn't, it's pretty awkward, pretty silly, and even kind of funny. Some parts much more funny than others.
Oh, God.
Somebody, a friend of ours got an early screening.
Oprah out of context looks like something out of Kung Fury, where they had the giants and the Scandinavian. Yeah. Like, that's what it looks like.
Look out, Giant Oprah!
Yeah, it just...
Hitler's riding Giant Oprah!
It has a strangely bad quality. Like, it's not really there. Like, it's almost a bad effect. Like, this was a joke.
A friend of mine saw it early and said it's actually kind of nostalgia critic material. And for, like, the first half, at least the first 2/3, I was kind of like, maybe I could. And then the last third kind of set in, and I'm like, I kind of like this now. I'm kind of really enjoying it. So I don't know. I'll see what kind of the reception is.
I'll be very curious to see how people like the book.
I get a feeling people like the book won't like.
I don't know what the average age is for, because I know people who's like, that book changed my life. That book, like, it taught me things about myself, and like, I didn't have quite the same experience, but I read it in what I would think is kind of young, in the beginning of the 4th grade. Like, I feel like this is a book more for like 12-year-olds at least.
Yeah, and that's why I say
was like, I think
12 or under,
9.
I think I would like it.
So I will say this though, the book stuck with me. I had to read that and Bridge to Terabithia back to back. Think about that one. Our 4th grade teachers, I think, wanted us to kill ourselves.
Well, it was Catholics in it.
No, they wanted us to feel guilty and then not kill ourselves.
Yes.
Just internalize that guilt and confess it later.
Yes.
But, so I didn't have the same experience, but it did stick with me because it was so weird. And even as a kid, I knew it was weird. And it was like heady concepts for a 4th grader because there's like kind of quantum mechanics and quantum physics in it. And you're being forced to accept a lot of these things. And then, of course, strong Christian overtones.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to like it, because I like kids' stories that do that and do challenge them with kind of abstract ideas. And because their minds especially can kind of be open to that kind of stuff even more. Just be like, oh yeah, and they can kind of keep those avenues open for a bit.
It blew my mind. And those scenes in suburbia in the last part of the book, like, resonate with me still as one of the earliest things I read that just legit creeped me out. So I'm really not much for conforming or respecting authority. Anyway, so I don't know like what people who would have read this like in their teenage years, pre-teen, like, you know, kind of 12-year-old kind of like.
Yeah, I feel like maybe 6th or 7th grade.
You know, I feel like a lot of times I hear people's like, that book changed my life. They were closer to that age. So I'd be very curious what they think of this movie. Like, because the book stuck with me, and it was my first experience to a good mind fuck. But probably Terabithia stuck with me a little more because it was my first introduction to death.
Now Disney botched both of them.
And yeah, Disney has now botched both of them. Good job, guys!
I think I like this more than
the two I read back to back that were like, just like messed with me. It's just like Disney wrecked both of them. So that's good. I guess I can bury my demons.
I'll say I like this more than Bridge to Terabithia. I think there's
I do too.
There's
Absolutely.
at least a good third, close to even half of a movie in here.
No, Bridge to
Terabithia, like maybe 10 minutes was good.
Yeah, it's only that last little 10 minutes there, but there's a longer chunk of this that's good, and there's bits in the middle, and there's like moments.
Yeah, like kind of sprinkled
in, and like it is pretty. Again, I wanted something a little more psychedelic, and it's just kind of like colorful Avatar.
We get a little bit at the end, but by that point, we're already just so tired.
The end started looking like an 80s movie. I'm like, this is the movie I wanted here at the end, where it's like weird or like purples and pinks and glitter and time warps and.
But by
like,
that point, I'm
like
already
it really was like dropping acid.
I feel like I'm just kind of done. Can we get to the credit? And it's like I feel bad because it's like I would love that imagery if it was like. I don't know.
No, I know what you're saying.
You're already or earlier, but I'm just
you had
like,
nothing but you had like this long Thomas Kincaid fantasy painting where it's just like everything's too glossy for like a half hour. So at this point now, you're just like, I'm just.
Well, and it's not even that long apparently. What, like an hour, 40 minutes, something like that.
We went in at 7.
And left at 9. Like 15,
and they start the trailers at our cinema at 7. The movie starts at 7. You sit through like 20 minutes of trailers, so it's about an hour 40.
Yeah,
but it felt long.
It felt like at least 2.
Oh.
So yeah, there it is. I think over time this probably will get an audience, like kind of among younger viewers that like looking back and maybe will kind of open up their minds and stuff. Like I said, if I was 12 or under, I'd probably like it. As an adult, it is just corny. I'm glad I saw it because it was so silly.
Oh, it's funny.
and it was enjoyable and how over the top it was.
Now, having not read the book though, or were you just like, was that what you were expecting, or
what I was expecting?
Like, what the fuck?
No, honestly, what seeing the trailer, what I was expecting was kind of that last third, particularly with this director. I really thought that's what I was gonna get.
I felt like
sort of the Avatar magical lands. Like
I felt like the most
I wasn't digging as much. I feel like it's everywhere now.
They cut down the climax because I felt like they went somewhere when he drags her back. And they padded, but I get why they cut that, because like, no, we got the dramatic, we need to keep it going. They wanted to keep the momentum going, and I'm thankful they did that, but they cut the climax down somehow. Like, they took a step out of there, and then I felt like the most shit they changed was on that first planet. So I felt like that was way different in the book, but I can't remember the book that well. But I'm like, something's not right.
I didn't even get that was planets they were on.
Yeah.
They
were going from planet to planet.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is why, as a kid, it was such a weird...
thought it was like a stream of consciousness
you're just warping the planets, A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah, I mean, like, even
that...
that...
Go through a wind in the door. Well, the third book's called, like, swiftly...
I mean, I guess...
spinning, tilting planet or something.
I guess Chris Pine was even talking about, like, yeah, we can travel light years, we can travel, but it's like... I don't know. I just thought, but through the mind, through the abstract, so it's like... I just thought it was just kind of like a stream of consciousness or something that somehow made itself physically real or something. Like,
is it just me, or do you think they strangely had really good chemistry? I'm like, I felt like that was a real father-daughter relationship they had. Outside of that first fight, like, drop the first 5 minutes and do the reunion scene and everything else.
Oh, like reunion on, yeah.
That first scene was just garbage all around, but I'm like, yeah, I feel like somehow this was really earned. Like, I feel like these two were actually, like, a parent and a kid, like...
No, it was
strangely effective.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's the movie I wanted!
No, and that's what I was thinking, too. I'm thinking, like, when they reunite, I'm just like, well, I know I'm not going to feel anything because they didn't have much of a connection before, and that was just like... That was really kind of a tear-jerking scene. Like,
it was.
Very
it was like that, you know, when the Marine or the soldier comes home from the war and then sees their kid for the first time. I was like, that felt really good and effective. I'm like, why all of a sudden now is the movie turning on? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Well, maybe that's what the director's best at, and maybe that's in their wheelhouse. It's like, oh, authenticity, and then Disney's like, no! Jolly green giant shit! Have them fly on something! Fallen flowers! I don't know!
We can't know for sure. I mean, maybe it's the director too. We don't know.
Could be.
I mean, she's just better at more kind of like realistic stuff.
I like blaming the mouse, though. It feels
fun.
It feels good.
It feels right.
It feels good.
You know, and
by the way,
they've been on too much of a roll with like Marvel and stuff like that. It's like let's stick it to them a little bit.
Well, this honestly, this feels like a live action Disney remake. That kind of
a little
bad.
bit, yeah.
I will say this though. What I love though is there is a Tesseract. So yes, it is a Disney film. That means that A Wrinkle in Time is now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, I want Thor to show up. It's like, gotta find the Tesseract.
So yeah,
that's it.
I think that's about it. Quite an experience, man.
I remember the book being weird as shit, and so is the movie, but I think one was better.
Yes, it sounds like the book was better. So that's about it. We'll see you next time. Later.
I got nothing.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just thinking of Oprah in a aluminum chicken suit.
How can you not?